Hey everyone, my name is Kajol. If you're new here, I post content to do with consulting. If that sounds like something you're interested in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you've already watched my previous video on what consulting is, you'll realize that all consultants do is solve problems. But what does that actually mean day to day? And that's really dependent on how senior your role is in the firm. So as analyst consultants and senior consultants, most of the time you're doing the doing work. At senior consultant level, you begin to lead work streams and manage a couple of people. At manager level, you begin to manage teams, and at the same time, try to bring in new business, and selling work becomes much more important at this level. As you go from manager to director to partner, it becomes more and more important to sell work, build relationships with your clients, look after the people in your team, and be responsible for eminence of your firm brand. So what do you actually do as an analyst? And the types of work you'll be doing can be split between client work, practice or business development work, as well as admin tasks. I end up doing roughly around 85% client work, 10% practice or business development work, and around roughly 5% admin tasks. So let's start off with practice or business development work. And these are activities that help to create long-term value for your firm and help it to outperform its competitors. There are three types of activities you can do, one being internal facing activities to help improve the performance of your firm. These could be anything to do with talent programs, to wellness activities like yoga, to developing a business area of your firm. The other one is external facing activities to do with your firm. Again, that could be anything to do with thought leadership articles, to attending conferences to push your brand out into the market. And lastly, you have client facing activities, and this is to help build and manage your relationships with your clients. Those activities include working on proposals for new clients, to even creating, let's say, trend reports. This type of work you usually do on top of your day job. And think of them like extracurricular activities you used to do at school, but now just in the workplace. I end up doing this in my own spare time or when I'm waiting for my manager to give me back comments. Doing PD or BD work allows you to earn extra credits with people. Sometimes it can help your performance reviews at the end of the year. Also, at the same time, you're expanding your network, showing interest in a particular area, and allows you to break into that area more easily. You're getting access to firms' intellectual property you wouldn't have otherwise. In your firm, it's really important you choose activities that you do really have a passion for, or you think can align to your career goals. You need to be motivated to do these tasks on top of your day job, because otherwise you won't be able to do a good job when you're really busy on a project because you won't be motivated to do that. Let's move on to client work. I'm going to go through the generic management consulting tasks, and the specifics of it may differ depending on what your client problem is, as well as what type of project you're on. So let's first start off with data gathering, and it's actually much harder than it sounds. You're trying to find specific sets of data to base your recommendations on. The types of data gathering that you'll end up doing is primary research and secondary research. In primary research, you're conducting those research methods yourself. Those include things such as customer interviews or stakeholder workshops. Typically, as an analyst, you'll end up preparing for those interviews and workshops. They may include writing up interview questions or writing up a pre-read to send out to workshop attendees beforehand. You'll also be taking notes during the running of them, and after a bit of experience, help to support the interview or help to facilitate the workshop. Initially, it is likely that your manager will be leading or running them, but learn from them. Understand how they ask follow-up questions, understand how they navigate the conversation so they can get the right insights that they need. Once you've got a bit of confidence, feel free to ask your manager to support or lead those interviews and workshops with them. You also have secondary research where you're looking at data that already exists. This includes surfing the internet as well as looking through internal company reports. Examples of data that you may be reviewing include financial data like revenue stats, or even web analytics such as how often someone spends on a website, and even discovering new trends and regulations in other countries. A lot of the time, you're solely responsible for secondary research, so it's really important that you quote your sources so that your manager can verify the data is accurate. And don't worry if you don't know where to start, often your firm has external research tools that they use. Once you have all this data, you need to analyze it. And don't forget, your analysis is only going to be as good as the data you have, so having really trustworthy and accurate information is super important. Some examples of the analysis work you may be doing include looking at interview answers and trying to categorize them into key insights, or building financial models of financial data, and even looking at some of the workshop comments and trying to convert them into requirements. Tip from me, try to continuously review it with your manager. Getting some early feedback allows you to iterate the work into a shape and direction that your manager wants. All the data gathering and analysis needs to be converted into something really simple and really easy to understand for your client. Seriously, don't underestimate it. It's an art I'm still struggling with. Typically, your manager will create a structure for your deliverable and you'll be asked to create content for it. So for example, it might be slides in a PowerPoint deck. And don't worry, you will get detailed guidance on what they're looking for in each slide. But for example, it might start off with something really small like making a slide look prettier. Once you gain their trust, you may be asked to create content for it. And from there, maybe even bounce around ideas on the structure of the deliverable. And because you've done most of the groundwork, you're often the person who has a very detailed view of the actual picture. That means that you'll be presenting back what you've learned to your team, and I find this one of the most scariest but most rewarding parts of consulting. In client settings, you may be presenting back what you've learned as well, and in client meetings, your manager may look to you to answer some questions because you've been really close to the data. So good to note that what I've covered are really high-level, generic management consulting tasks, and these need to be adapted based on what part of consulting you're in. For example, if you're in technology consulting, creating deliverables to you may mean writing code. Lastly, we have admin work, and I'm not going to lie, this is probably going to take up around 10% of your time. But you have admin tasks to support your day-to-day job, and those include logging in your time to your timesheets so your firm can understand how many hours to bill to your client, as well as claiming back your expenses. You also have admin tasks to do with your client role. That includes everything from scheduling meeting rooms to finding post-it notes and printing off materials for workshops. Sometimes these are small tests, try to get them right. These are the most easiest type of tasks that you can do. Getting them right allows you to gain more trust and more responsibility from your team. So that was a very quick introduction to what consultants do day to day. I hope you found that useful. Please subscribe and leave me a comment so I know if you liked it or if you hated it. Thanks a lot and see you next time.